Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Monday night, Jim has the night off. I'm Lisa Thomas-Laurie. In the news, police arrest protesters after a homeless sit-in at the convention center, and Lieutenant Governor Singal takes aim at assault weapons. But the big story on Action News tonight is the big battle in Dallas on Monday Night Football. The Cowboys beat the Eagles, but it wasn't nearly as easy as Dallas fans might have hoped. Gary Papa here with the latest, and they gave them a run for their money, didn't they?
Some people thought they might have been embarrassed tonight going into the ball game. They were not embarrassed at all. A marvelous game, Monday Night Madness. Eagles were down 16-3, picking up in the third quarter. Big break they needed, and they get it from John Roper. The former Cowboy, recovers the fumble here, and the Birds are in business. Finally tonight, inside the 10-yard line. Then Bubby Brister, who was so brave tonight, taking so many hits, goes to Mark Bavaro, 16-10. Dallas will drive again. Darrell Johnson follows the Emmitt Smith run, which we saw a few seconds ago in the opening tees, 23-10. Birds do not die easily. Drive 81 yards. Brister, Bavaro, and it's 23-17. Eagles do get the ball back one more time after the defense held. Bubby goes back to pass late, and he's going to throw right here to Bill Bates. Good night, 23-17. A marvelous effort for the Eagles, but not enough as they lose 23-17. Scott Palmer is in Irving, Texas. We'll have a report from Scott coming up in a few minutes with post-game reaction to what was a very impressive and a very proud night for the Eagles in a game that they were underdogs by 16 points.
It was exciting.
Yes.
Thank you, Gary. On to other news now. Astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour have already begun the third spacewalk of their Hubble rescue mission. Let's go live now to a satellite picture of astronauts Story Musgrave and Jeffrey Hoffman. Now, this spacewalk began around 10:30 tonight with the astronauts attempting to repair the telescope's bad eyesight, specifically to install 3 new camera lenses to improve the clarity of Hubble's view of distant planets and stars. You can see a little bit of the activity here. You can see in this live picture astronauts Musgrave. I think you can see at least one of the astronauts there in the shuttle's open cargo bay. We are told that this job of repairing the telescope lenses will take about 4 hours. Now, also during this spacewalk, the 2 astronauts will be trying to replace Hubble's 2 faulty magnetometers. Now, the magnetometer is a device that measures the telescope's position by the Earth's magnetic field. Again, you're looking at a live picture, a live satellite picture of astronauts Story Musgrave and Jeffrey Hoffman. You can see the Hubble telescope there. You can see a little activity with them trying to repair those faulty lenses on the Hubble telescope. The work will take about 4 hours. The Endeavour crew is in the 6th day of an 11-day flight. On to other news. And it's not good news. An Allentown man has been arrested and charged with the murder of 3 women, including the most recent killing of a teenage newspaper carrier this summer. Harvey Robinson, who turned 19 today, was already in jail when he was charged today with the kidnapping and death of Charlotte Schmoyer. Schmoyer was abducted as she rode her bike along her morning paper route. Her body found in this wooded area in East Allentown. Robinson is accused of a long list of violent crimes, including 3 murders, 2 attempted murders, and the rape of all 5 victims. One of the attempted murders involved an attack on a 6-year-old Allentown girl this past June, the same month Charlotte Schmoyer was killed. Charlotte Schmoyer's parents were not surprised when their daughter's alleged killer was named. As Vernon Odom reports tonight, the Schmoyer family and the suspect live in the same neighborhood.
I'm glad that somebody's going to pay for it, but it doesn't make my pain any easier.
The Schmoyer family told me tonight they had known for months who the chief suspect was in their daughter's murder. The 19-year-old Robinson, who lived just a few blocks away, is a young man with a troubled past, police say.
He didn't come from another part of the city or another state. He lived right here. And that's the scary part.
As Christmas nears, the family's struggling to carry on without Charlotte. She left a younger brother and sister behind.
They destroyed our family. We try to hold together, but there's a part that is missing forever.
Police say 47-year-old Jessica Jean Fortney was another of Robinson's summer of '93 rape and murder victims. She'd been strangled and beaten to death. Tonight, her family told me her killer came in through this first-floor window to attack Jessica as they slept upstairs.
It was my mother. She was a good woman, and you know, she didn't ask to die.
Police say Robinson's first murder victim was 29-year-old Joan Mary Burghardt, a mental patient. She was raped and bludgeoned to death in August of 1992 in her townhouse on the grounds of the Allentown State Hospital. Here on Allentown's east side tonight, citizens are resting a lot easier, confident now that a long reign of terror is finally over.
It's sad. He's such a young boy, but we're happy that it's over.
I hope it's the right man, and I hope he gets what he deserves. Honestly, I mean, everybody around here, it's incredible.
The Schmoyers, who attended their weekly Murder Victim Survivors Group session tonight, say they plan to attend all of Robinson's legal proceedings, and they say they hope, if convicted, he'll get the death penalty. Vernon Odom, Channel 6 Action News, Allentown.
In action news around the nation, the man suspected of kidnapping and murdering Polly Klaas in Petaluma, California, has reportedly told authorities she was alive and hidden nearby when police stopped him for questioning the night of the abduction. 2 California newspapers quote sources today as saying the suspect, Richard Allen Davis, told police the 12-year-old Polly was hidden on a nearby embankment while sheriff's deputies questioned him on October 1st. Davis was released after authorities searched his car. Poinsettias were placed at the site where Polly's body was found on Saturday. The exact manner and timing of her death has not been determined yet. Former Roman Catholic priest James Porter will be going to prison after pleading guilty to child molestation. 22 of Porter's victims spoke of their pain and embarrassment today. One man telling the court how he would scream when Porter raped him and the priest would put his hand over his mouth so no one would hear. Porter tearfully pleaded for treatment in a center near his wife and 4 children in Minnesota, but the judge sentenced him to 18 years behind bars. Porter was led out of the courtroom today in handcuffs. Police say a would-be robber was shot and killed tonight in Chester. It happened just after 7 this evening in Sabandi's Cafe on Keystone Road. Police say the owner, Albert Sabandi, pulled a gun of his own when the armed bandit came in and demanded cash. 23-year-old Troy Womack was shot in the chest and died at Crozer-Chester Medical Center. Police say no charges are planned against the bar owner, Sabandi. A group of homeless families and homeless advocates staged a sit-in protest tonight in the Pennsylvania Convention Center. Organizers say the protest was on behalf of 16 homeless families with 63 children who've been unable to find housing. They claim city officials have not been responsive to their repeated requests for help. City Council President John Street tried to get the protesters to leave by promising to discuss the problem with Mayor Rendell, but 6 adult protesters refused to go. Police arrested the 6th and charged them with defiant trespass. State senators returned to Harrisburg today, and so did the controversy over the seating of the newest senator, Bill Stinson of Philadelphia. Republicans introduced a resolution to force Stinson to step aside pending a court challenge to his razor-thin victory in last month's special election. However, Democrats who control the Senate with Stinson's vote derailed the resolution by sending it to committee. Lieutenant Governor Mark Singal continued his assault on assault weapons today. Singal, who has called for a statewide ban on the weapons, went to a state police firing range to personally demonstrate their firepower. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh have passed local laws banning automatic weapons, but gun control opponents in Harrisburg are pushing for a bill to overturn those laws. Singal has pledged to veto any such effort. Still no word tonight on when Pennsylvania Governor Bob Casey will be released from the hospital. The governor initially went last Thursday to have a checkup at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, a checkup following his heart-liver transplant operation in June. He was admitted after doctors detected a recurrence of the same virus that forced him to be hospitalized for 3 weeks in October. Meantime, at St. Christopher's Hospital in Philadelphia, a baby girl is recovering from liver transplant surgery. Doctors are optimistic about her future and that of her father, who also has some recovering to do, both physically and emotionally. Dan Cuellar has their story tonight.
Late today, 10-month-old Jocelyn returned from the operating room where doctors replaced the tubes in her body to lessen the chance of infection. She was just coming out of anesthesia when her liver donor dad, Jose, and mother Gloria came by to visit. Jose, a native of Puerto Rico, is recovering well. He still is worried about his daughter and has made a promise to God if he and daughter come through this okay.
He said that he told God that if he and Jocelyn will come out fine, that one of the things that he would do is not smoke or drink. It's not that he can't, but he chooses not to do so.
As things stand now, Jocelyn, according to her doctor, is well on the road to recovery, and there are no signs her body's rejecting the transplant. One of the main concerns doctors have right now is Jocelyn's continued reliance on a ventilator. They say her chest bones are still not strong enough for her to breathe on her own. and they say it could be as long as 2 weeks before they can take her off the ventilator.
She had a lot of broken ribs from her bone disease, and she wasn't able to breathe by herself. So until those have healed up and we can get her off the ventilator, she'll be in some danger.
Meantime, Jose de Leman is expected to be released in time for the holidays, but his daughter's recovery is the only thing that would bring him joy.
Then he'll be thankful to God and Dr. Dunn, and that will be his Christmas present, he says.
Tonight, doctors say all indications are that Jocelyn will pull through this and eventually grow up to be a healthy child. I'm Dan Cuellar, Channel 6 Action News, North Philadelphia.
And still to come on Action News tonight, the University of Pennsylvania makes Ivy League history. And the Perkiomen Creek goes back to its banks after a wet and wild weekend. Dave?
We're going to find out from AccuWeather if the sunshine sticks around come tomorrow.
And Gary Papa will return with more from Dallas on tonight's big game and on Health Check, the connection between calcium and heart disease. We'll have that and more as Action News continues tonight. There are reports from the Philippines tonight that a kidnapped Philadelphia man may have been released. 60-year-old Charles Walton was seized by Muslim extremists on November 14th. Now, he was in the Philippines working on a translation of the New Testament. Although the report of Walton's release has not been confirmed yet, Philippine Vice President Joseph Estrada, we are told, has left Manila to try to pick Walton up. Secretary of State Warren Christopher says the U.S. will not take sides in the Israeli PLO negotiations. Christopher met with PLO Chief Yasser Arafat in Jordan today. Arafat wants the U.S. to force Israel to stick to a December 13th deadline set for withdrawing troops from Jericho and the Gaza Strip. But Israel says the deadline cannot be met because of the renewed violence. I think you were looking at a picture of Jordan's King Hussein. In the West Bank today, Palestinian gunmen shot and killed a father and son, sparking more angry protests from Jewish settlers. President Clinton met at the White House tonight with Haiti's ousted President Jean-Bertrand Aristide and Prime Minister Robert Malval. Clinton hailed Malval's announcement today that he would stay on as acting prime minister and try to revitalize talks aimed at restoring democracy to Haiti. And he reaffirmed U.S. support for democracy on the island and for the return of President Aristide.
About all those things, and there'll be more to say about it.
Well, you can't say the Eagles didn't give it a pretty good shot, right, Gary?
Did they have a chance of beating Dallas in Dallas? Did they have a chance? Oh, boy, did they have a chance. Now, first it was all Dallas. Emmitt Smith will run through William Thomas. This is in the first quarter. Marvelous play coming up right here. Thomas has him, but there goes Emmitt Smith, part of the first Dallas scoring drive. Oh, boy. Then Aikman to Michael Irvin, 7-0. It seemed as though they could score all night long. Let's see some pretty pictures of Dallas while the Cowboys kick 3 field goals, going up 16-0. Nice night in Texas. Eagles get a break just before halftime, 1 second to go in the half, and Matt Bauer, boink, 16-3, boink. Real break in the third, Aikman fumbles, double boink. John Roper, who was once cut by the Cowboys for sleeping, wakes everybody up with the recovery. Then Brister will go to Bavaro, 16-10. But enter Emmitt. 57 yards, so similar to the run that he did here at the Vet earlier this season. He will not go all the way. McMillan with the saving tackle, but then Darrell Johnson will score right after that. It is 23-10 Dallas. You figure that's it. But no, Bird's drive, 81 yards. Bubby to his buddy Bavaro, 23-17. Birds get it back one more time late in the fourth. Bubby to not his buddy, Michael Bates, 23-17 is your final tonight. Now live is Scott Palmer. Rich Kotite said before the game he had a feeling his team was going to play very well, and they did. And what did Rich Kotite say after the game tonight, Scott?
Well, Gary, Kotite was asked, are you still in the playoff picture? This is what he said.
I don't know. It's certainly tougher at this juncture right now. I guess you got to have a lot of help, but right now, you know, we just wanted to freshen up and come back and play this hard against Buffalo.
Yeah, we played hard. Had a few mistakes here and there. Emmitt was tough again. Sort of hard to stop him. We gave it a good run. Hopefully we can get better for next year so we can try to get the playoffs.
Back live now outside the locker room at Texas Stadium with Seth Joyner. Seth, this game so eerily similar to the first time these teams met. Late in the game, you go down, you can try to score, you can't, and then Emmitt runs it right back the other way.
Well, I think, you know, we had probably a better opportunity to win this game, you know, than probably the last. because we had many opportunities to make things happen. You know, we had balls on the ground that we couldn't recover. We couldn't get any bounces. We dropped 2 interceptions. When the plays are there to be made, we have to make the plays. And, you know, this is just another example of a team not being able to get it done because we can't convert, you know, the plays and come up with the turnovers and do the things that we have to do when we have to do them. And, you know, it's just an ongoing story, and, you know, it's a very frustrating situation. But it just seems like we're snake bitten. We can't do anything right. We can't get any balls to fall our way. We can't get anything to fall in our arms. It's just, you know, we have no luck. And that's what I see.
When no luck translates to another loss, and unfortunately it looks like it takes you out of the playoff picture, Seth. About as well as the team could play in the second half, but you come up short again. Thanks for joining us here, and next week it's Buffalo.
Thanks.
Okay. Seth Joyner, one of the more disappointed of the Eagles because the defense tonight played very well, but again, they just couldn't stop Emmitt Smith. I'm Scott Palmer, Channel 6 Action News, live outside the Eagles locker room at Texas Stadium.
As Seth said, the ongoing story of the Eagles 1993. Thank you, Scott Palmer, tonight in Texas. Flyers, Eric Lindros did skate today. All tests are positive for a possible return in the near future, but whether it'll be Thursday as they hoped, unlikely. Tonight in Montreal, overtime. Here comes Gilbert Dion, and it will be 4-3 Canadiens. On the scoreboard, Detroit wins it 6-2. Calgary over Ottawa. They're excited tonight. Staying on the ice, a spectacular showdown, pro challenge at the Spectrum between Brian Boitano and Scott Hamilton, both gold medal winners. First up, Scott Hamilton. Look at this move tonight. Wow. Will it be enough to beat out Boitano, who had the lead going into tonight? Here comes Brian tonight. There's Scott finishing up his routine. They loved it. Here comes Brian Boitano, gold medalist of 1988, and he will skate off with first place tonight that's very pretty, at the Spectrum. And tomorrow we will hear for the first time the new Houston Astro, Mitch Williams.
Oh, boy.
5 o'clock tomorrow.
Won't miss it. Thanks, Gary.
You got to be here.
A new president has been named tonight at the University of Pennsylvania. Philadelphia native Judith Rodin was tapped to become Penn's next president, making her the first woman president of an Ivy League school. The behavioral psychologist is a Penn alumnus and is currently provost at Yale University. If approved by the Board of Trustees, she'll take over in July.
So a variety of very great extended families.
Many residents in the Delaware Valley are still drying out tonight from this weekend's wet weather. The waters from the Perkiomen Creek in Collegeville began to recede this morning, but yesterday the creek covered roads with as much as 3 feet of water after spilling its banks. Today, residents had the chore of scraping mud left on their driveways and roadways. It was also a busy day for plumbers who were called out to help residents clear water from flooded basements. Much different story today. Nice sunny day in the Delaware Valley. How much of it will we get, Dave?
Well, we are going to have more sunshine tomorrow or today, depending on how late you've been up, to help to continue to dry things out. Cloud cover is in place. The satellite picture shows us that. As clouds, and you can see a little bit of a break to the south, and that's what we'll get come tomorrow as we have another day of sunshine, mostly sunny skies on the way. Action radar. Take a look at the sweep. You can see that shower activity still around the Pittsburgh area, but there was a decent line of it just to a little bit to the east of Pittsburgh, moving in our direction, kind of scattered and falling in parks. Some areas just picked up a little spritz. That's the satellite, that's radar on our map. Storm center over Lake Ontario, the frontal system just about in the process of going through. See that little precipitation which we showed you, 40 degrees cloud cover in Chicago, colder air there. Here's our weather maker, this high pressure system here coming out of Oklahoma, moving to the Virginias tomorrow, continues to bring us just more sunshine as we continue to dry out after that wet weekend. So Tuesday will shine, Tuesday to shine, 2. 36 in the Poconos, 39 in Allentown, 41 in Reading, and out at the shore, 38, 39. 37 was our low, our high, 49 degrees. There it is. Came at 2:04 this afternoon. Let's take a look at the current numbers. Present temperature rating is 43 degrees, humidity 75%, a rising barometer 2995. Breezes out of the west 7 miles an hour. Ocean water temperature is 50 degrees. In the northeast, there's a 4-1, 4-2 outside the station, Center City, the airport at 4-3. Camden 42. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast, breezy with cloud cover hanging tough. Tonight, overnight low about 36 degrees for rush hour. Things start to clear. Partly sunny skies, 38 degrees. We put 10 on that for the high. 48 degrees. That's about normal for this time of year. Brisk and chilly, mostly sunshine. Wednesday, partly sunny, 46. Thursday, partly sunny, 46. A little increase in temperature. And Friday, partly sunny. Then on Saturday, right now, unfortunately, looks like some cloud cover coming in, and the possibility of some showers, 50 degrees. So breezy clouds breaking up. Another very nice day. You'll need the sunglasses come tomorrow.
All right, it's medical news here, Dave. Women who are worried about the condition of their silicone breast implants may soon have a new way to check to see whether those implants are still intact. Details tonight on Health Check with Robin Garrison.
A Texas laboratory wants approval for a new test that could help women find out if their silicone breast implants have ruptured. At the moment, the process is complicated and expensive, requiring either surgery or magnetic resonance imaging. The new blood test would measure antibodies created by the body in reaction to silicone. More than 1 million American women have silicone implants. Keeping your medical benefits when you retire is going to get more difficult. A survey of 2,500 employers found most of them have cut back on health benefits for retirees, and they expect to cut back even more. In fact, less than half are now offering benefits to those who are also eligible for Medicare, and those still offering health care plans are asking retirees to shoulder more of the cost. Screening your body for calcium may help predict your risk for heart attack. Recent studies say too much calcium can indicate the early stages of heart disease. And a Los Angeles company is now using an ultra-fast X-ray screen to check the amount of calcium in a patient's arteries. If the disease is detected early, steps can be taken to reduce the risk for heart attack. I'm Robin Garrison, and that's Health Check at 11.
And still to come on Action News tonight, the First Lady shows how the White House is decorated for the holiday season. We'll have that story and more when Action News comes right back tonight. First Lady, actually, let's talk about Princess Diana. Britain's Princess Diana was back in the limelight today, 3 days after she announced she's cutting back on her public appearances. Princess Diana was at London's Heathrow Airport to help Virgin Atlantic Airways launch its new aeroplane. Last week, Diana said she was reducing her public engagement because the media attention has been too great. Photographers say the price of Diana's pictures has skyrocketed since she made that announcement. Well, Jolly O St. Nick traded in his sleigh today, but first let's look at Hillary Rodham Clinton. She showed off the holiday decorations at the White House today. Look at the trees here decorating the grand halls. They're trimmed with handmade decorations from artists and school children from across the country. There's even a gingerbread house for the first cat socks. It's complete with 20 miniature socks look-alikes. How about that? Now, jolly old St. Nick. He traded in his sleigh for a pair of roller skates in Northeast Philadelphia tonight. St. Nick joined teenagers for a few spins on the floor of the Palace Skate Center here on Roosevelt Boulevard. The skating party was held to raise money to buy toys for less fortunate children in the Philadelphia area. Where is Santa Claus? We'll see him in a minute. Sponsored by the Philadelphia Archdiocese. Nightline is next on Channel 6. Action News continues tomorrow. For now, for Dave and for Gary, I'm Lisa Thomas Laurie. Have a good night.